To find additional episodes of this program, as well as other content, visit eaglemountain.tv.
Hey everyone, this is Bobby. Welcome to my show, A New Era. We've been talking about reformation, transformation. What does it look like practically? And how do you launch into the reformation of your family, your region? Well, let's just again say that Jesus is at the center of reformation. Jesus is your reformation, and no reformation happens without Jesus. No Jesus, no reformation. Whether you're believing God for great things for your family, your business, your region, Jesus has to be at the center and the focus of all reformation. That being said, there are some tangible things that you ought to know in terms of how to bring reformation. God's given you a mind and He's given you a heart for your region. In one of the last sessions, we talked about how to love your region. Go back and look at that session if you have not seen it yet. To the degree that you love, you will have authority. And so how do we fall in love with our region? Not just with the people of our region, the actual region, so that Romans can be fulfilled, that all creation will respond to you, because it recognizes you as a son or a daughter of the Most High God. That's how favor happens, and I talk about that in that video, so go look at that. Love equals authority. So I want to go a step further now and talk about tangible transformation. Now, some of the things that you can do to bring transformation to your family, to your region, you have to have a great ground game, and that's the tangible side, and you have to have a good air game. That's the prayer and proclamation side. So let's start with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understanding that God is a God of legacy is going to be so super important for you. What He's doing in your region, or wants to do in your region, He's been wanting to do for some time, and if He's had it His way, which we know He does, He has released certain deposits of that reformation in your region a while back. Maybe people have been praying, prophesying. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't know them. Maybe they were in your region 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and God is fulfilling in you what He began in them. So see yourself as a part of a bigger picture, a part of the cloud of witnesses, a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And that's what reformation does, is it says, wow, I'm not just wanting to bring something myself because I'm frustrated or I see that change needs to happen. This is way bigger than me just getting juiced up myself about something. I see that I'm, for such a time as this, called to the kingdom, but I'm one in a line of a God legacy plan that has been unfolding. And so Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham was given a promise by the Lord. He had a constraint, and that is that he was supposed to father something, and his wife was supposed to mother something, but she was barren. Now, if you've ever thought about this, God gives that promise regardless of his ability to walk that out. He actually chased Abraham down to give Abraham something he didn't know he wanted and to teach him how to be a father. And so, because God is a covenant-keeping God, He appears to Isaac. And He says, I had a promise with your father, and I'm going to continue fulfilling that in you. But if you understand, Isaac's got the same constraint, and that is that Rebekah and all the supernatural things that happened to connect them together, she too did not have her womb opened. She too, the constraint was barrenness. And it's like, oh really, Sarah had that? And then now Rebekah has that. And then you go all the way down to Jacob and the supernatural encounter that he had with Rachel and how they fell in love instantly and knew it was God's destiny for them to be together, and all of the things that went into getting them together, Rachel is barren. Same issue. You've got this generational promise that's supposed to come down. It's legacy. It's God appearing to these men and saying, I'm going to do something for Abraham's sake in you. In other words, someone's gone before you in your region. I've given them a promise and I'm fulfilling it in you. But in order to birth something, it has to be supernatural. And God let it happen. God allowed it to happen because none of them were going to birth anything in their own strength. None of those ladies. They were all amazing. It was said of all three of them that they were extremely beautiful. Well, that wasn't going to get it done. As awesome as beauty is, and sometimes, people look on the outer, and sometimes that kind of stuff can open doors to a person who looks on the outer. God's like, you know what? I see so far ahead of that. Even that beauty still requires supernatural intervention or interjection, which means you can't get it done on yourself. What you're called to birth in this life will require a supernatural intervention. God is asserting himself into your life and encountering you, saying, I will get this done. So think about your region and think about the things that maybe you are aware of that God has already prophesied to your region through someone else. And then I would begin to also ask the Lord to reveal some of the destiny over your region that you don't know about. People that have been there maybe 5 decades ago, maybe more, that have prophesied things that you're just unaware of. Lord, show me the legacy. Show me the things in the Spirit. Reveal it to my heart and mind, the things that you've prophesied over this region through other people, the promises that you've given. And then now it's time to go to the next step. And it's time to target top influencers within certain spheres of society that you feel God is highlighting to you. As I mentioned, there are 7 primary spheres of society or areas of influence within every region. Now, the list can be different, how you word it can be different, but there's education, there's family, there's religion, there's business, there's government, there's arts and entertainment, right? There's the church. And so, pick 1 or 2 of those spheres of society that you feel God is calling you and or your group to connect with and to bless. And don't come in guns blazing. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about here. I've seen people come in going, hey, I just wanted to point out that our education system needs to be reformed in our region, and we're the church, or we're this group, and we want to come in and fix it. And until or unless you have walked through a process of credibility like Joseph and Daniel, they will not respond favorably to you being an armchair quarterback just to point out the problem. So, and don't do that. Come in as a servant and go, I'm part of a group that is interested in transforming society and doing tangible initiatives that bring about change and reform to our region. We love our region. So this season, this year, our group is highlighting education, you might say, and go meet with the superintendent of education in your region, or a principal of a school, or whatever. And you say, we're highlighting education, and we just wanted to sit down with you and see if there are any initiatives that you're planning that we can get behind, whether it's labor, finances, any services, all of those things. Is there anything that we can do? And what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a servant role. You're not telling them what they need to do and how you want to see it reformed. And a bunch of us are ready to go if you'll just turn us loose on this. No, you're not saying that at all. You're going, hey, a bunch of us are ready to go. What are the initiatives that you have planned? And give me a couple options to see if I can get behind one of them. Some of them you may not agree with. They might not be ethically where your group is and you don't want to get behind. But maybe a portion of it you can get behind. But maybe you'll need to hear 3 options so that you can pick one that your group can get behind. For education, for us, it was that the students needed a safe place to go within the school. They wanted to create what was called a sensory room, because children down to 8 years old were having major trouble with depression, anxiety, and even suicide at that young of age. And so they wanted to create these sensory rooms. So I said, okay, so what you need is plans, a contractor, and then contractors for all of the different services that we're putting in: wood flooring, electrical, framing, all of that, paint. And then also, you're going to need someone who can come in and design the room for you that you can work with. And so for us, we rolled up our sleeves, and that's what we did. For government, we met with the sheriff, had the same question, had the same conversation, and he said, you know what, I need respirators for all of my deputies. I've got 60 deputies that are going into toxic environments, and we don't have top-of-the-line respirators with the cartridges that are interchangeable and all of that. So if that's something you can do to help, and I'm literally looking for low-hanging fruit because I want to win. My first interaction with them can't be major projects. I won't do it. I'm just looking to gain credibility, and I know that credibility comes through low-hanging fruit and developing a quick win that we can collaborate on together. So things like respirators and those, that's what I'm talking about. Things like new bikes for your police department who are patrolling on bikes. Those are small things. Computers for offices, those types of things. Just identify what sphere of society you and your group wants to bless. Pick an initiative that is low-hanging fruit and go gain credibility. Once you've gained credibility, walk away and don't go, okay, now let me tell you, now that I've got credibility with you, what I think you really should do. Don't do that, because they're always looking for, like, okay, are they going to try to proselytize us? What's really going on here? No, stay integral, follow through. Don't do the project partially. Go all the way, complete it, make sure all the way through everybody had a great experience by being around you. Understand that your first initiative is to gain credibility, and then move on. And then let them reach back out to you. Hey, contact me. We had a great experience with you guys. We'd love to work on something with you in the future. So let me know if there are things like this that we can partner with you on. Boom, done. Go on to the next sphere in your society that God's highlighting to you. Maybe you jump from education, like I said, to the sheriff's department or government or something like that, or business, family, whatever it is, and you jump to the next one. And what's happening is you're giving those guys who you did the last initiative with time to go, wow, we really appreciated that group of people and working with them. Now you're on to the next one, and you're doing low-hanging fruit, small projects to gain credibility. So by the time you circle back around next year, or maybe it'll take you 2 years, that's something that they can't wait for you to sort of knock on their door. And most of the time, by that time, they're calling you. So just remember, in the tangible side, you come in as a servant, you find low-hanging fruit, you do a small project that to them, they got to pick. So it means something to them. They're emotionally connected to it, and then you're able to help them, and then it enabled them to feel the win, have a quick win with you, and there wasn't a ton of tension. You weren't trying to pull your weight around, and they loved it. And then go on to the next one. All the while, you're praying. Every project that you do, you are praying, because the project is the ground game, but the prayer and prophecy is the air game. So the group of people has to meet off-site as well to be able to pray for the project, the people of the project, the transformation, how what you're doing brings transformation to the city and God thoughts. So make sure you've got a good air game and a good ground game. Now, back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Legacy. God's gone before you. He has a dream for your city. He has a destiny for your city. Every region has a destiny, has a prophetic word. And so we tap into that. We look into, like Psalm 139 says, that there is a book that all the days that you should live were written in. Well, if there was a book about you that had all of the days that you should live, not just the number of days, that's not what it says. It actually has the things that you are called to accomplish. It's your book of life or destiny. Wouldn't you want to know what that book says? What's in that book? Well, the same thing for regions. There are destinies for regions. When Jesus cried over Jerusalem, it was because they had missed their day of visitation, and he wept over Jerusalem as a region, not just the people of that region. And so tap into the Lord. Ask the Holy Spirit what the destiny of the region is, and then begin to serve it systematically. Follow through. Ask those people that you work with, how did we do? And then get their feedback, and then follow up with them and see if there's things. Now, over time, there's credibility in our region, and then we begin to take that into global scenarios. Like, for instance, Haiti has a problem with the lights going out. And so I remember when that was first told to me, and I thought, man, I know inventors who could invent some sort of power grid and really begin to bring power to Haiti, and we could target a Christian school or a church or something like that that highlights, everybody else's power is going out, but for some reason this Christian school or this Bible college or this church has no issues. And all of a sudden the government goes, how is it that you don't have any issues? Oh, well, we'd love to work with you to bring a power grid to you. What do you guys need? And next thing you know, you're gaining credibility. And they're like, you would do that for us? We're like, well, yeah, if you're experiencing the same power issues that everybody else is in Haiti, maybe there's a way we can help. And then you try to work with them. If they've got a budget, then you try to collaborate. And if there's funds to be raised, then you do your part and follow through with that. And next thing you know, you're gaining credibility with you. And they recognize that the church now is being seen as an agent of change and transformation. All the while, what you're doing with boots on the ground, you're also covering in prayer. So many people in the prayer part of things, they have a great air game, but they don't do anything. Boots on the ground. So we try to get the intercessors to collaborate with the practitioners, and that's sort of that church that's built on the foundations of the apostolic and the prophetic, the apostles and the prophets. Why did God build his church on the foundation of the apostles and prophets? Well, because the prophets will bring you God's plan, God's idea, what the spirit realm is doing, and sort of the ethereal picture of what God's saying. The apostolic will then create the how-tos and the next steps and the strategy for accomplishing that. So if you just had ethereal revelation and you never put boots on the ground, then you'd never get it done. It would just stay ethereal. And that's often what happens in prayer circles, where a lot of prophetic swirls happening, but we don't go beyond that to put boots on the ground. At the same time, putting boots on the ground with a bunch of high driver type people without having it soaked in prayer and prophecy would get nothing done as well. We do a lot of things in our own strength, and we need it bathed in prayer and proclamation. And we need to know what to do and when to do it, and that's what the prophetic community provides for the church. So the marriage of the apostles and prophets, no wonder the foundation of the church was built on the apostolic and the prophetic. So these are some keys to make sure you step out, bathe the things that God's called you to in prayer, and then go beyond that prayer and connect with those who are ready to bring initiatives. Some people just love to pray, and that's all that they can offer you is the praying side. That's okay. Let's take that. But don't just stay there. Find the people who are ready to give you boots on the ground, go to the next level, and make sure you are fulfilling the promise that you made to your region to help them. Have a great experience doing that. Gain credibility like Daniel and like Joseph, and you'll watch your authority over that region. So I want you to do something. I want you to begin to pray about what influencer you're supposed to connect with in your region. Is it family? Is it education? Is it government? Is it business? Is it the church, right? Is it arts and entertainment? You know, what area of society are you supposed to connect with, and how can you serve them, ask them the right questions, and come under an initiative that they're already doing and create some low-hanging fruit and something that will last and something that will help build credibility. Go do it. I want to hear from you. Bobby@eaglemountain.global. Let me know your testimonies. Blessings to you as you continue to build for this new era.